Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft the Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. A father and a daughter were arrested after allegedly shooting and killing her boyfriend after an argument.
Right now, the family of a man who police say was killed by his girlfriend and her father is making funeral arrangements.
They say they don't understand how the woman they met and went on double dates with turned to violence. Fox 5's Alex Whitler explains from the live desk. Alex?
Yeah, Courtney and Tom, Trayvon Valerie's mother says he was a jokester and a family man who was incredibly close with his grandmother, who just passed away about a month ago. She says the emotional and pricey task of moving his body to a cemetery in another state would be easier to comprehend if she knew why his girlfriend and her father shot him.
Very kind-hearted. Every time you seen him, very smiley, happy.
Trayvon Valerie's family says this smile comes to mind whenever they think back on his life, one they say was brutally cut short.
I would never thought in a million years, out of all the people in the world, that nobody would harm my child, because he wasn't that child that would get in trouble.
But DeKalb County Police say it was his girlfriend and her father who did more than hurt the 25-year-old in broad daylight. Last Wednesday on Camellia Lane around 3 p.m., police said there was an argument at the scene before both the father and daughter fired shots that killed Valerie.
Nina called her dad. When Nina called her dad, dad, and my son got into an altercation, a fight. Nina's father took out a weapon and fired at my son and missed.
His mother says she met her son's girlfriend and now accused killer. She and his uncle say there were no signs of a tumultuous relationship.
Laid back girl would come here, we would cook for them. She would do my hair, twist my hair, we laugh, go out on dates night together, bowling.
Sometimes younger people think they have all the answers or they can fix it themselves, you know. It doesn't hurt to, talk to someone who's been there, can offer you advice.
Family says they'd do anything to see this smile again, but have accepted the next best thing would be a just sentence for this young man's killers. We have more information about this shooting and the Valerie family's efforts to get closure on our website, fox5atlanta.com. At the live desk, Alex Whitler, Fox 5 News.
Alex, thanks.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Atlanta, 25-year-old Trayvon Valerie got into an argument with his girlfriend, 25-year-old Nina Shaw. And as they were in the middle of this heated argument, Nina Shaw allegedly called her father, Royicus Shaw, to the apartment. And when Royicus Shaw arrived at the apartment, he allegedly started arguing with Trayvon Valerie, and Royicus Shaw pulled a firearm and shot at Trayvon Valerie and allegedly missed. Now, after Trayvon Valerie was shot at and the shot missed him, Trayvon Valerie then allegedly pulled his own firearm and then shot and hit Royicus Shaw in the hip, and then Nina Shaw took the weapon from her father and allegedly shot and killed her boyfriend Trayvon Valerie. And when Atlanta police arrived on the scene, they saw that Trayvon Valerie was dead, and after they got the stories from Nina Shaw and her father Royicus Shaw, both were arrested and charged with murder with malice aforethought and remanded over to custody. Now, the DeKalb County or Atlanta police see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions of Nina Shaw and Royicus Shaw, they definitely fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and Nina Shaw's behavior fits the pattern and profile of feminist indoctrinated women that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And it's clear to me that both Nina Shaw and Roika Shaw really didn't understand what critical thinking is all about, because of their emotional reactions, they basically escalated an argument into murder. Now, the whole argument between Nina Shaw and Trayvon Valerie was something that should have remained between Nina Shaw and Trayvon Valerie, because when a couple comes together, they forsake their mother and father and they cleave to each other. And if they are having issues with each other, they're not supposed to be bringing people outside into their arguments to mediate things. If things are getting too hot as related to a situation, both partners are supposed to leave the environment and then cool down for a moment. Unfortunately, Trayvon Valerie and Nina Shaw didn't get this whole issue, this whole life skill as related to conflict resolution for couples, and instead, because both partners were emotional, they wound up escalating their behavior to the point where things were getting out of control. Now, Trayvon Valerie didn't really understand how to deal with feminist indoctrinated modern women, and sadly that possibly could have been one of the things that led to him winding up losing his life. Now, Trayvon Valerie thought that he could possibly work things out with this woman, but he didn't understand with feminist indoctrinated women, a lot of times these women are always the masters of oral combat, and if they believe they cannot win an argument, what they will do is escalate things in order to get things to go their way. And what Trayvon Valerie didn't understand is that when you're dealing with the masters of oral combat and they are losing an argument, what you want to do in that situation is you want to disengage and you want to leave the scene. Unfortunately, with some guys, they let their pride get in the way and they continue arguing with this woman, not understanding that arguing with this woman is going to continue going on in circles until one of you breaks. And in many cases, what will happen is either the man will wind up exploding in rage and participating in possible domestic violence, or what will happen is the woman will go out here and get outsiders to come to her aid. And sadly, what happened here is that Nina Shaw, being a feminist indoctrinated woman, when she saw herself losing this argument possibly to Trayvon Valerie, she then decided to call up her father to be her reinforcement. And that was a cue for Trayvon Valerie, if he had been a critical thinker, to get out of that house or that apartment, go far away, because usually in the cases of arguments like this, you want to get out of that place as fast as possible, because when a woman brings in outsiders, that shows that she has no regard for your life and no respect for you as a partner. Because if a woman truly cares about you, she's not going to look to escalate a situation over an argument with you, because even though a woman disagrees with you and she loves you, she understands that, yes, I disagree with this man, but I don't want to go out here and do something that would lead to him being harmed. And if a woman isn't looking out for your safety, then she truly doesn't care about you. Unfortunately, Trayvon Valerie, I believe, got caught up in his feelings and his pride, and he wound up staying in that situation. And as he tried to stay in that situation, he was trying to think he could resolve things with this woman, but there is no resolving things with a feminist indoctrinated woman, because feminist indoctrinated women don't want to compromise. All they do is want to win. And because they want to win, they're willing to go and participate in unethical and underhanded tactics. And they're looking to participate in these unethical and underhanded tactics because it's all about them sating their feelings about being right, not about looking to work with you towards settling the disagreement. This is why she wants to bring in the outsiders to be a part of the situation and have those outsiders on her side, because it's all about these people sating her bias, not looking to get a situation resolved. Because she knew if she called 911, what would happen is the police would be objective and the police would also have an account as related of the incident to the police report. So she knew that if she came into that situation and called 911, she wouldn't be able to get the resolution that sated her feelings. So what she did was call her father, because her father would be biased towards her, and with the father being a beta male, and with beta male fathers, what they do is they oftentimes try to protect their daughters based on their feelings and not thinking critically about their actions. They don't understand the whole concept of protection is all about submission and respect. And that's why these men will run and put on their sterling armor as white knights, looking to defend the honor of a dishonorable woman. And that's what happened here with Roika Shaw. He's running over to this apartment to settle his daughter's issues as related to this argument, not understanding that as a father, once that daughter got involved with that man, as related to the common law marriage, because like Ringo says, sex is marriage, these two came together and they have forsaken mother and father, and they are supposed to settle their arguments themselves. But she decided to bring this man in, and as he got emotional thinking he was going to protect his daughter, sadly he couldn't see how his daughter was manipulating him. Now, the daughter basically was manipulating Roika Shaw, and as Roika Shaw came to the apartment, he started, instead of trying to mediate the situation, because he had just been caught up in his emotions about what his daughter had told him, he starts arguing with this man instead of saying, hey, let me try to break this up. Let me take my daughter out of this situation. Because again, if a father wants to protect his daughter, he's going to say, look, I'm taking my daughter out of here. But instead of that, what he does is get into it with Trayvon Valerie. And as he gets into it with Trayvon Valerie, then we get him looking to shoot the boyfriend. And as he looks to shoot the boyfriend, he winds up shooting and missing. And then Trayvon Valerie, pulling his own firearm in self-defense, then shoots at the father. And as he shoots at the father, he hits him in the hip. And then the daughter takes a firearm and then allegedly shoots and kills her boyfriend, basically proving my point that this woman never loved this man. No, if this woman loved this man, she would have left that situation, and she would have left that situation understanding, hey, even though I'm having a disagreement with this dude, I'm gonna just take a minute to walk away. But she was so caught up in her feelings about being right that she let this argument escalate to the point where she put not only her boyfriend's life in jeopardy, but she also put her father's life in jeopardy, and created a situation where she escalated things to the point where she wound up murdering her boyfriend over this argument, and took away this young man's life, who was a football player at one time and was a man doing very well, and then put her father, who was possibly out here, put all these people's lives in jeopardy, all because of her feelings about being right. And now everything is going wrong for this entire family, because this father basically threw away his freedom, all because he wanted to go out here and settle an argument between his daughter and her boyfriend, when in actuality, again, if that father were a smart critical thinker, he would have said that I'm calling 911. I'm going to let the police handle this situation. I'm going to let the police get involved, because when it comes to these women out here, they will look to manipulate a situation, and that's why you need law enforcement to get involved. And when you get involved with these kinds of women, you need to understand that retreat is the only option in cases where you're dealing with a woman who is completely out of control. That's the lesson here that people have to learn as related to the sad, tragic death of Trayvon Valerie. I mean, the case of Trayvon Valerie basically shows that if you are having a situation with a woman, and she's just basically, you cannot really reason with her, and she's just getting emotional and out of control, you have to flee the scene, because you have to value your health, your safety, your freedom, and your life above trying to settle things with this woman. Yes, you may have feelings for this woman, but you have to look at her actions. If she's escalating things, it clearly shows that she has no love for you and no respect for you, because if a woman loved you or respected you, she would not put your life on the line by looking to escalate a situation. So what you got to do in order to preserve your life is you've got to go out here and get out of that situation. And then after you get out of that situation and you see this woman who just cannot stop arguing, continues to escalate things, what you do is you cut ties with that woman. I mean, if you're just in a situation where you're boyfriend and girlfriend, what you do is you cut the ties with that woman in that relationship, because this woman has basically shown she has no respect for you, no respect for your life, and you have to understand that if she can go out here and call up a guy to bring a gun to try to hurt you, then that woman has no love for you, and that's when you gotta give her her walking papers. That's the only thing you can do in that situation. You cannot try to keep trying to win the argument, because again, she's already proven her point, and she's proven the point she has no respect for you. So that's the thing that most men need to get out of this situation as related to the tragic death of Trayvon Valerie. Again, when I look at this man, he really didn't understand how to resolve this conflict, because he never really understood that the world is very different for men out here these days. And you have to be able to understand you need to leave as soon as possible when there's an argument and it's just getting too hot. You got to get out of there, because this may be the difference between life and death for you, or it may even be the difference between you being a free man or getting locked up on some trumped up domestic violence charges. So you got to get yourself out of there as soon as possible, because this is all about your safety, your freedom, and your life. Three intangibles that have higher value than this woman's whole feelings. And when it comes to guys like Raika Shaw, they need to also learn that when it comes to your daughter, there's three sides of the story: your boyfriend's side, her side, and the truth. And when it comes to girls who call up their fathers to be their backup, it really shows that this woman really doesn't understand what the concept of accountability is, because when you become a partner with a man, you are accountable for yourself and that man. And that man is the one you decided to cleave to once you decided to go out here and get involved with him and live with him. And if your things are getting hot between you and you can't work them out, then maybe the two of you should not be together. Maybe the two of you should just break up and move on, because that's the only way that things can work out. It's better to break up with someone and have your intangibles of freedom rather than be in a relationship where you're escalating things to the point where you're putting people's lives in jeopardy. And this father was a textbook example, again, of beta male fathers, because beta male fathers, they run and act on their impulses and their feelings. And as they run and act on their impulses and their feelings, what they do is further escalate an already tense situation by looking to take a side instead of understanding you need to try to cool things down. What these men do is escalate situations, further making things even worse, because again, when you have a beta male who comes into a situation, what he wants to do is start arguing with another man, and instead of holding the woman accountable. And because of this, they can't see the puppet master pulling the strings, and sadly, as this puppet master wound up pulling the strings, it led to this father winding up putting himself in jeopardy, and this daughter basically putting herself in a place where she believed she needed to commit murder in order to win this argument. And sadly, all three wound up losing. We saw a young 25-year-old man losing his life. We saw a 25-year-old woman lose her life. And we saw an older man lose his life. And both father and daughter, sadly, are now going from being free people, possibly on the road to headed to the penitentiary, and that's where Roika Shaw will learn about the conflict resolution skills of the CO, and will have to deal with the social hierarchy of the inmates in the Georgia penal system, where he's going to have to deal with conflict resolution of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, as he's traded possibly for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand chocolate chip cookies, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand windmill cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, prison chips, packets of soy sauce, snack pack puddings, Lifesavers candies, Lifesavers gummies, Hershey bars, Kit Kat candy bars, Butterfinger BBs. He's going to have to be dealing with these guys trading him back and forth, and trading his front side and his back side, and spit roasting him, and then waiting for Mr. Sprinkles to come in and glaze the backside and have it looking like the inside of a glazed donut. This is the final fate that's going to come to this man, as his daughter is sitting in a separate penitentiary with Betty, Big Bertha, Martha, and Wilma. And this didn't have to be. No, this didn't have to be, because all it took was basic critical thinking and conflict resolution to keep this family together and keep this family free. They could have did this with basic conflict resolution skills. Unfortunately, because you had a beta male father, he raised a feminist indoctrinated daughter who put both father and daughter on the road to becoming men and women in crisis, as they possibly are going to have to do life sentences for the death of a boyfriend that she could have just broken up with. And if she just broken up with this boyfriend, she would have been free to be out here. Unfortunately, because they got caught up in their emotions and didn't understand how to resolve conflict, this is why we have a father and daughter going from being a free family to being a family in crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about how many beta males breed dysfunctional family and how that family can lead to them falling apart and winding up in situations like this, you can pick up my books, The Man Crisis and The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis and The Woman Crisis in digital format at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target. And you can also get the audiobook of The Man Crisis and The Woman Crisis at Amazon.com and Audible.com. And if you want to see me make more videos about the man crisis and the woman crisis in this country, you can send a donation to the PayPal or the Cash App of a minimum of $15. And if you have a person you want me to talk about as related to the man crisis, I will make that video for you. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many Black women can't find a husband, why 70% of Black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.